Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum Salam. I'm doing well. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. I'm Sukana Sen.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yes, same here. Assalamu alaikum, Fatma. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me
Alhamdulillah.
okay?
Yeah, you're quite audible. Perfect. Waiting for Mavish. Mavish is not there. All right. Are we all here? Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are.
All right. So we are going to inshallah start in a few minutes.
All right.
We are waiting for Mavish. Inshallah, she'll be there. Then we are going to begin with our program today.
Inshallah.
So, how's the weather of Karachi treating us?
I actually am based in Islamabad. So I've been in Karachi for some work. And
Yeah, Shroon told me about it.
this is surprisingly, I've been coming to the city, for like good 2, 3 decades now since childhood. And I'm really
Hmm.
surprised that, the weather is really good actually. I've
Good?
never had, yeah, I'm liking it actually. I don't know what the other participants think, but Karachi तो इस टाइम पे ऐसी ह्यूमिडिटी होती है that you are sweating from everywhere and it's really difficult to you know किसी के पास पहुंचना हो तो you can't be fresh and everything तो
I can
but this time
imagine.
it's surprisingly pleasant.
Now, I think September and October are the months which are supposed to be humid ones.
Yeah, but I think so
Yeah.
it's got more to do with that extended monsoon season as well.
It was expected in September as well, but seems like it actually spared us.
Yeah, Karachi paid a big price for this, for the rains and everything. Yeah,
It's traumatic.
yeah, it was
Yes.
certainly was.
I'm based in Islamabad, so I can't comment on that.
You both. Let me start. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all. Am I sure I'm audible? Am I? All right. Welcome to all. We are really excited to be formally starting our session. We thank you for your time and interest in our program. You're part of this session through the platform of Lincoln Corners, Sindh, in collaboration with Parvarish. We'll begin with a brief intro about the two organizations. Lincoln Corners is a project of US Embassy and selected institution in Pakistan. There are 17 Lincoln Corners across Pakistan, 5 in Sindh. Lincoln Corners are a resource center where we have free of cost educational resources, digital library, US based books and magazines, and we host programs related to education, entrepreneur, activism, STEM education, language, and women empowerment throughout the year. Our collaborating partner, Parvarish, is a huge and fast growing community. Their mission is to empower and endow our teenagers, kids, and our parents by facilitating them with the right kind of help and professionals. Their aim is to connect and equip the important triangle of educational, mental health, counseling, faculty with teenagers, kids, and parents across the length of Pakistan. They seek to enable the discussion of alternative and mainstream career options and educational avenues for our teenagers and youth across Pakistan. Today's session on suicide prevention among young people will be moderated by me, Sukaina Hussain Ibrahim. I'll encourage you all to share your are. Everyone's microphone should remain muted throughout the session. If you have any comments or questions during the session, chat box with the name of the panelist you want to ask from. We will take questions at the end of our session, or you can raise your hand during the question answer segment and I'll unmute your mic to speak. Please make sure you stick to the topic while sharing your opinion or asking questions. We expect everyone to be respectful and refrain from using any type of abusive language towards anyone. Moving on to our panelists. Okay, let's have a brief info about it. We have with us Abdul Basit Khwaja with an experience of 16 years of working with individuals and organizations on suicide prevention and helping young people reach their full potential. Then we have Fatima Hussain, a registered psychotherapist from British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy with an extensive experience of working with young people dealing with different mental health conditions. Welcome, Fatma. And of course, Abdul Basit. Our third guest is Mahwish Nishwan. Mahwish works as a victim counselor with a law enforcement agency. She has worked with children and young people experiencing bullying, harassment, suicide, and trauma. Moving on to my first question to my panelists. Shall I start? From
Please.
your experiences of working with children and young people with suicide warning signs, what do you think should parents and teachers should look out for? What are the signals, you can say, the signs or the threats where we need to look upon? Yes, please.
In my
Yes, Fatma.
experience, it's usually the signs are that they're there, but they can be very easy to miss. So in young people, because it's such a difficult period and it's a period of development and transition, it often manifests as irritability. There was just a paper by the Chicago Psychoanalytic Association that I was reading today that said that during COVID times, they've recorded. Sorry, am I still online? That they've seen a lot more irritability. So that's one thing that's something you can look out for. Any behavioral changes, any sleep disruptions, things that make trust your instinct with that. If it feels like they're not being themselves, then that's something to attend to. That's the first thing I would say. I'm not sure I can hear you anymore, Suganna. We keep losing you.
All right. What about you, Abdul Khash?
I actually would like to add what from where Fatma has left. Actually, working, I've been really involved with working at the grassroots level, mostly with rural communities. And what Fatma has mentioned is not quite different from what I have also experienced on the ground. So when it comes to your particular question related to science and everything, because since we are working with communities, with underprivileged communities, basically the underprivileged segments of the society, and the hopelessness part is already quite it's quite evident over there and prevalent over there, because they do not have access to basic amenities, they do not have access to a lot of things maybe what we take for granted. And I have certainly seen that hopelessness converting into attempts, suicide attempts, and even seen people who we could, our organization or people who are working on the ground, the educators, they were not able to save those lives. It was a bit too late to have that, to unfortunately, the signs they talk, you could see that perhaps they are disconnected, they are lonely, and they are not speaking to people. Maybe it's the abuse part is also there, and even drug abuse and everything. So these things have these signs are there for us to recognize, and it's very you could feel that a person is restless or is struggling, even if you see that there's a slight change in the normal routine, maybe the eating or sleeping patterns, and maybe they're attempting to do risky or self-destructive things. So it's really important for these signals to be caught as early as it can be.
Abdul Basit, and to you all. Since I'm part of, you can say that you can one of the reason behind the suicide somehow.
So can you repeat your question? I think your mic was on mute when you.
All right. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, do you think that somehow children who are being bullied, they can move towards suicide? It is going to affect their mental health?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that comes up in research is, what leads to suicidal behavior or thinking about suicide. And suicidal behavior is not limited to actually attempting or committing or successfully. It's about self-harm also. And one of the biggest things that comes up is that people who don't feel like they're part of a bigger community. So anything that makes children feel excluded, which could be, school mein bullying ho rahi hai, ya it's things at home where there's a conflict situation, they don't feel part of a bigger group. If they've just moved schools, they're the new kid at school. Anything that makes them feel outside of a bigger group or there's a lack of belonging, that could play into it because that amplifies that sense of isolation and loneliness.
I agree. Right. Since I'm dealing with children who face learning issues, so I remember one time a child was saying, Miss, I feel like committing suicide. And I said, what? Miss, मुझे याद नहीं होता तो मैं क्या करूं? There was something which shattered me from inside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my observation as an educationist.
And I would like to add on that, Sukaina, actually. This actually, what you mentioned, actually, it made me recall a story of a young child. He was actually going to a special school. I would not mention the city or anything. I do not want to, if their parents are listening or something, I do not want to, them to think about it. So I remember this child and it was a special school, and he had a hearing impairment. And we were talking about bullying in educational institutes, and I'm talking about bullying in special education institutes. So, and he had a fight in the school, and unfortunately, I feel that the school did not convey it in the right way to the parents about the issue. And when this child came back home, he was subjected to physical abuse. And this is a person who actually cannot tell his side of the story because he cannot speak with you. I'm talking about people who, like, we are talking about young people, perfectly able to speak and express their thoughts and everything, and they are also not sharing their thoughts. Think of this young boy. It just reminded me of his story. And when nobody was able to listen to his side of the story, and he could not actually, maybe even the family was not that well trained when it came to sign language and everything. Unfortunately, this boy committed suicide.
Sad.
So
Marish.
the bullying part, and where we talk about educators playing their role, we're talking about early detection over here. Everything went wrong, and this was a special child. And actually, we work with a lot of disabled groups. I don't like to use the word disabled. Differently abled is much
Different.
appropriate. Yeah. And uh, I feel that when I see these children who struggle with their speech, जिनकी स्पीच थेरेपी चल रही होती है और बहुत स्टैमर करते हैं आधे आधे घंटे के बाद, like after 30 minutes or something, they are able to put out one word outside. And when I sit down with people in our sector, the psychologists and everything, and we talk about these children and about children who stammer, I have heard it so many times that they are they are at high risk of maybe, causing self-harm, or, even thinking or committing suicide.
Something really alarming to me. Okay, over to you, Mavish. I'm sure it's yeah.
Sorry, sorry, I can't hear you.
Welcome, welcome to the session,
Thank
Mavish.
you,
How are
Sukaina.
you?
I'm good.
How are you doing? Fine, perfect.
Yeah,
Coping with the
yes.
weather. All right. So my question was to all our panelists was that from your experience of working with children, right, and young people, what suicide warning should parents and teachers should look into? Your
Okay.
views, just your views.
सबसे पहले तो मैं इसमें ये बात क्लियर करूंगी कि जहां तक मैंने चीज़ों को देखा है और मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है, वार्निंग साइंस आर ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर इन ऑल एज ग्रुप्स। जितने भी एज ग्रुप्स हमारे पास हैं जो कि सुसाइड के लिए एक रिस्क फैक्टर समझे जाते हैं, सब में जो वार्निंग साइंस होते हैं वो ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर होते हैं। और यहाँ पर हमारे पास दो चीजें हैं, एक है रिस्क फैक्टर और एक है वार्निंग साइन। तो जो चाइल्डहुड है वो हमारा जो रिस्क फैक्टर है उसमें नहीं आता। रिस्क फैक्टर में अमेरिकन स्टडीज के मुताबिक दो जो है हमारे एज ग्रुप्स आते हैं, जिसमें अडोलेसेंट्स हैं और एल्डरली पीपल हैं। ये दो जो हैं वो सबसे ज्यादा रिस्क पर हैं इस वक्त सुसाइड के। और जहां पर हम बच्चों की बात कर रहे हैं तो बच्चों में हमें क्या साइंस देखने चाहिए? व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग इन अ स्कूल, तो मैं ये किया करती थी कि ब्रेक टाइम जो होता है ना, उसमें जाकर मैं पूरे स्कूल में ऐसी चक्कर लगाती थी। एंड आई यूज टू सी कि कौन से बच्चे क्लासरूम में ही बैठे हुए हैं एंड दे आर नॉट एंजॉइंग देयर लंच टाइम, ना ही वो लंच कर रहे हैं, ना ही वो अपने दोस्तों के साथ खेल रहे हैं। तो ये सबसे बड़ा साइन है जो हम स्कूल्स में देख सकते हैं, आइसोलेशन एंड नो फ्रेंड्स। ये सबसे बड़ा साइन है जो कि हमें इसकी तरफ एक बहुत बड़ा इंडिकेटर है ये।
Right, got you. Now, over to Fatma. What are some of the ways, how important is active listening and empathy in diverting suicide?
It's essential. I think I would just like to add to what Mehvish said. There are lots, isolation or they're not feeling part of a group, they're not playing with other kids at recess. That's all very important. But also adding to that, if they're explicitly expressing, feelings of hopelessness about the future, or they're displaying like a lot of pain or distress, if there are behavioral changes that feel worrisome, this anger, hostility, any sleep disruption. I think that's a big one that parents can be tuned into, teachers can be tuned into. And sometimes, loss, bereavement, or जो mental health needs होती हैं, especially adolescents की, in states that are very fragile, they're known to increase. So that is absolutely something that needs to be, held in mind. And all of the research says that the one thing that you need to do is listen. So when you notice these changes, when you notice anything happening, or you feel like things are different from the way they were, have very explicit conversations. Actually, like, I've noticed you're not being yourself. Is there anything you'd like to talk about? Or I've noticed that you're not doing things the way that you did, or that I've noticed you've been looking kind of down. What's going on for you? And not in a pushy way, not in a sort of tell me ki kya hai, and don't try to push for a reason, because often there will not be a reason for why the child is feeling low, depressed, suicidal, they're engaging in self-harm. But it's really important to listen and assure them that your opinion about them is not going to change irrespective of what they tell you, and that help is available.
It's all about being a listening ear, right?
I
We
think
all need
listening-
an ear to listen. That's the main thing, right? Okay, Sir Abdul Basit, here's a question from you. Can you please shed some light on suicide prevention counseling in our schools? Do you think it's very common and we should have it more, or what?
When we were talking about the education sector, I think so we are talking about two the segments over here. We're talking about the private education and we're talking about public education. Since I've been working, my exposure is a lot with the rural communities as well, and of course in urban areas as well, working with youth development organizations where we do a lot of sessions and trainings and everything with the youth groups and everything. In urban areas, I might say the access is better to maybe getting counseling and getting that support. But when I go to these public schools, especially when we are working in interior Sindh, or when we are working in southern Punjab, or maybe parts of KPK, when I'm talking about these public schools, even in Gilgit Baltistan or anywhere, where is that support available for the children at school level? There's no support available for them. So it doesn't exist at all. And that's a big question mark. And actually, I think so it's a public policy level thing that has to be looked upon. Yes, Pakistan has, I think so, signed made a commitment to also for the mental health, the UN, I'm forgetting the exact name of that charter. It's related to some SDG goals, I think so, or related to mental health. I think so it's a 2030-20 plan. And but I think so. When it comes to the public education sector, the public schools, it's very important to bring a lot of stakeholders on board, educators and perhaps a lot of other relevant stakeholders, where you have to see that they have to make sure to the suicide prevention जो आपने अपना implementation plan बनाया हुआ है, how you're rolling that out into schools. I do not see it existing in public schools at any level, but of course, I've seen it in private schools. They do have counselors and they have teachers who are, relatively, I wouldn't say trained, but they do have the capacities to handle these situations, or they're able to detect that sickness. But that's rare and few. And when we have a case where that we are not able to prevent, so when you go back and look at the reasons, there was, I think so, it was Fatma or Mavish, I think so, somebody was mentioning about the listening. People are not much ready to listen, and maybe I think so the first time if somebody comes up out and opens up to you and speaks about that, maybe they're thinking about suicide and maybe self-harm in that way, or unfortunately, I think so it usually begins with the halal and haram debate, and it starts with further abuse, maybe verbal and physical abuse, and that is not the way to counter this problem. So coming back to specifically to your question, I don't think so enough is being done.
There's a long way to
I
go.
would,
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I would just like to add to that, that very recently I was working on a project where we set up some of the first trauma-informed schools in Pakistan, and part of that project was training the teachers in empathic listening and compassionate communication. And a big part of working with suicide and any mental health issues is exploring your own personal beliefs and views about things. And that is absolutely the one thing that keeps coming up with suicide and with mental health care, halal haram debate. And training people to listen empathically, that's something that really needs to happen on a structural level, because without structural support, I don't think it's possible to have a realistic intervention when it comes to suicide prevention or any mental health issue, to be honest. And it's abysmal, the state that things are in. Even in private schools, there are counselors available, but there's nobody to turn to after you identify somebody's suicidal. What do you do after you find out somebody's suicidal? So that's quite tricky.
It's a long way to go, actually, right? It will take a lot of time, maybe a lot of detailing and a lot of work.
It
But
has to start from somewhere.
yeah, it has to. Let's hope. Even in private schools, Abdul Basit, when you're talking about private school, let me tell you, I was part of private school, and a good, well-known one.
Yes.
It's really not in each and every school, because we still need to accept the fact that mental health is above everything. Everything. It's not just about child, but it's about much, and we need to work on that. We really need to work on that. It's too late now. And already due to pandemic alone, talk about the parents, the family, though we have developed the bonding, but still children and adults had suffered a lot. All right, Mavish, over to you. What are some of the ways to go about if a close one is feeling suicidal? Oh my god, this is something.
ओके ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेंसिटिव और सीरियस चीज़ है, और इवन के हमारे बहुत सारे यानी हमारी कम्युनिटी मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स की भी इसको मिस आउट कर जाती है. इट्स सच अ ट्रिकी थिंग कि इसके बारे में हमें बहुत ही विजिलेंट रहना होता है. हमारी स्टडीज ये कहती हैं कि हर वो शख्स जिसने सुसाइड की है उसने कभी ना कभी किसी ना किसी को जरूर बताया है, इनडायरेक्टली या फिर डायरेक्टली. दैट मीन्स कि कोई भी मरने से पहले आपको जरूर इंडिकेशन देता है. इट्स अप टू यू कि आप उसको कैसे देखते हैं. हमारे यहाँ जो चीज सीखने की इस वक्त जरूरत है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मुझे अपनी किसी एक फ्रेंड के बारे में इस तरह का कुछ लगता है, तो मेरा सबसे फर्स्ट इमीडिएट जो स्टेप होगा वो होगा इंगेज. मैंने उसको इंगेज करना है. इंगेज इन अ सेंस कि मैं उससे राब्ते में रहूं, मैं उससे कांटेक्ट में रहूं, मैं उससे बात करूं, मैं उससे पूछूं इवन अगर मुझे जरूरत पड़े तो मैं उससे डायरेक्टली भी सुसाइड के बारे में पूछूं। हमारे यहाँ एक मिथ है कि अगर हम किसी से सुसाइड के बारे में बात करेंगे तो हम शायद उसको आइडिया दे रहे हैं सुसाइड का, बट इट्स नॉट ट्रू। साइंटिफिक स्टडीज ये कहती हैं कि जब हम अपने मुंह से सुसाइड का वर्ड निकालते हैं या फिर हम इस तरह की कोई भी बात डायरेक्टली इंडिविजुअल से करते हैं तो वो एक सेंस ऑफ रिलीफ उनके अंदर पैदा करता है कि दैट इट्स नॉर्मल इफ दे आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इट। तो कभी कभी हमें डायरेक्टली भी बात करनी पड़ती है और कभी कभी हमें इनडायरेक्टली बात करनी पड़ती है। तो फर्स्ट स्टेप इज टू एंगेज, टू कम्युनिकेट, और आपने उसको सही बंदे तक पहुंचाना भी जरूर है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल को आप जानते हैं जिससे आप उससे कांटेक्ट करा सकें, एंड डोंट जस्ट ड्रॉप द नंबर। हमारे टीचर कहा करते थे कि सिर्फ नंबर दे देने से कुछ नहीं होगा, आस्क कि आपने कांटेक्ट किया है एंड मेक श्योर कि उन्होंने कांटेक्ट किया है या नहीं। डोंट रन अवे। हमारे अंदर अभी तक इस चीज की एक्सेप्टेंस ही नहीं है। इट क्रिएट्स एंजाइटी इन अस। अगर हमें कोई ऐसे कहता है तो हम उसको फौरन कहते हैं कि देखो देखो अल्लाह ने तुम्हें कितनी चीजें दी हैं, तुम्हारे पास औलाद है, तुम्हारे पास ये है, तुम्हारे पास वो है। हम उसी के अंदर एक गिल्ट की फीलिंग्स जनरेट कराना शुरू कर देते हैं। फिर हम उसको ये भी कहते हैं कि देखो तुम्हारे बाद तुम्हारे माँ बाप का क्या होगा, तुम्हारे बच्चों का क्या होगा, यानी कि उसका पेन स्टिल अभी तक वहीं पर ही है और हमें उसके अंदर और पेन जनरेट कर दिया है। तो ये हमें नहीं करना, हमें जजमेंटल नहीं होना। ये बात याद रखें, उसको मशवरे नहीं चाहिए। ही डोंट नीड एडवाइस। उसको सिर्फ ये सुनना है कि ही मैटर्स, ही इज नॉट अ बर्डन ऑन दिस अर्थ। सुसाइड के पीछे दो जो है वो थॉट्स होते हैं। एक ये होता है आई एम अलोन, और दूसरा ये होता है कि आई एम बर्डन ऑन दिस अर्थ। और हमें यही दो थॉट्स के साथ उनको बहुत ही जेंटली और बहुत ही, अगर आप फिजिकली प्रेजेंट मौजूद हैं तो आप उनको सेंसेस के साथ लाइक हाथ पकड़ लेना, हक कर लेना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें होती हैं। लेकिन अगर आप सामने मौजूद नहीं हो और आप फोन के थ्रू उसके साथ कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हो तो आपने मेक श्योर करना है कि आपका वो कम्युनिकेशन टूटे नहीं, आप उसके साथ कांटेक्ट में रहो। आपने भागना नहीं है, अपनी एंजाइटी जनरेट नहीं करनी और उसके अंदर गिल्ट भी जनरेट नहीं करना। So this is the most important thing to do.
Right. Yeah, agree. That I mean, this is something very new which I came to know from you. Thank you, Mavish. That we don't need to say that कि आगे जो है आपके माँ बाप का क्या होगा, बच्चों का क्या होगा, इस तरह हम add on कर रहे हैं. We need to matter the individual. Agree.
I
I
think
will
it's
add one more thing. Yeah,
Yes,
go
please.
ahead, Fatma.
I was just going to say that it's important to assess the level of risk somebody is at. It's not a dichotomy, suicide hona, na suicide hona. There's a whole range in between. Like, how specific is the plan? Are they just expressing feelings of hopelessness, or are they saying, "Saat baje, this is what I'm going to do on a Wednesday"? So that also will tell you the level of seriousness and how deeply they've thought about it. If they've got pills, if they've got a gun, and then you can have a more specific sort of plan of action. That's all I wanted to add.
So this is something, I mean, all right. So actually, my question from all of you is that role of extended family. Let's talk about the family members, the extended family members in preventing suicide in Pakistani families. I just need your views over here. This is something very important. As a mother, as a teacher, I would really like to know, and our audience as well.
I am actually so glad I was actually thinking about this, and you popped up the question. Um, this is very important. Maybe I'm going to stay very relevant to the question you have asked. I'm 35 years old now, and there are students who have, when we speak to students, and they go through bullying, they go through harassment, they go through a lot of things. And those incidents are the things that are actually pushing them towards these thoughts of hopelessness, and they're thinking there's no solution left for them and everything. I'm 35 years old today. And today in the morning, I was speaking with my sister, and we were talking about today's talk and everything. And I told her that I was twice a person like me. I'm not standing right now, I'm sitting. I'm quite tall, and I look like, younger brother of Hulk or something. And I had to face I was harassed, sexually attempted twice in my life. Person like me. So जहाँ पे कभी कभार वो debate कहीं और ना चली जाए, sometimes it's about, talked about a woman, how she's dressing and what is going on and everything. And it happened twice. And why I'm mentioning this right now is I never spoke to anyone about it. If my parents are watching today, so they are going to know today that this happened, right? I'm talking about myself, that I was not able to speak to anyone. So this is the problem, where that, when you put up that question about, speaking with family members being, आपके पास वो space available है, वो create हुई भी है, that, you can engage with your children and you can speak to them about these very important issues. We're talking about suicide, we're talking about signals, we're talking about a lot of things, but there are a lot of times there are some events that start triggering these signals. And उस event के ऊपर जब वो start होता है, maybe it's, it's not of that scale or something, but it completely builds on that. Maybe somebody is constantly bullying at school, maybe somebody is, improperly touching you at school or wherever in your group of friends and everything. But then you cannot even come and speak to your parents about it. You cannot come and speak to your elder siblings about it. You cannot. So I think so it's very important for families to start speaking with their children and start giving uh, that space to have a dialogue, that that they're not going to start judging the child. When we were talking about listening and everything, accept the child as, if something has happened wrong or something, victim को ही I guess हम torture करने ज़्यादा शुरू कर देते हैं, ठीक है? We start blaming the victim for that event to be happening, right? Rather than actually looking at what actually made the event happen and how you can stop those events happening. I मैंने एक personal चीज share की which I wanted to share actually, so I put it up over here. I actually we were running actually a hospital once. Actually, we ran it for like 10 years. It was made it. We developed it in a flood affected area in Mia Valley, and I remember that they brought a patient and they hurried them into the emergency and everything. And I asked what happened to this guy and everything, and they said that he's taken some pill. I think so. It's a mercury pill. It's quite common in rural communities. That mercury pill is used to keep the wheat safe from from getting spoiled or something like that. And after 20 or 30 minutes, I went and asked. They were discharging the patient and everything. I was like, okay, is he safe now? And he said he's going to he's not going to survive, and we are shifting him to the government hospital because there's no solution to that mercury pill. Once it's taken, बाकी बहुत सारे poisons that can be washed and everything. Your stomach can be washed, and you can be saved. जो जहाँ पे medical response आता है. But with that mercury pill, if it's only you can grab that pill out of the mouth, then only you can do it. And eventually that person passed away. He was a very young guy, tall, dark, handsome, and it was a tragedy to see him that way. Or masla kya tha when we checked about what was the problem? He wanted to marry someone of his own choice, and the family was not ready to accept it. तो social barriers जो हैं, हम families में ही हमारे family के अंदर ही events हो जाते हैं. एक तो मैंने I pointed out that we're not creating that enough space for dialogue inside our families. And the second point I'm mentioning, the family members are at times also causing people to move towards committing suicide.
I totally agree. I can so relate. That's quite a difficult topic, and actually to digest is really difficult as a mother, as a teacher. Anyways, yes, Padma, may I have your a little bit about your views?
I would agree. I think like extended families and joint family systems are part of the culture that we exist in, and they can be a lot of support. They can help provide support to parents when raising children, but it can often make children a lot more vulnerable. So if they're exposed to cousins, yeah, other relatives who are not perhaps as close, or maybe parents aren't being as vigilant because they're thinking somebody's got looking out for them, or they're playing out in the streets. I think it could go both ways. So I would echo what Abdul Basit said and say that it's very important to create dialogue. It's very important to create spaces to have those conversations, to have that kind of trust in whether it's a parental relationship or some sort of trusted adult, could be an older aunt, uncle, cousin, teacher, somebody who you can rely on, and for them to know, for the child or the adolescent to know that person's available should they need something. So that is crucial, and it's very important to foster that, I would say.
One more thing, that's my own view, that we talk about the siblings rivalry, right? Here, I want to emphasize our bonding amongst that sibling. That's much more important because I've seen that the younger ones are closer to their elder siblings. So, how do you take this? Do you think
Uh,
somehow the elder ones, if like they work like a shelter for the younger ones? So,
I think so.
how do you see this thing?
I can confirm that, and I think, because when there's not a lot of age gap, then it's much easier to do it. When there's a bigger age gap, then it comes from more of a parental sort of thing. But it's important to have that relationship with your siblings because they understand your family, they understand your parents in a way that perhaps an outsider can't. So they have a much better grasp on your context. So yes, sibling rivalry is important and it does exist, and it's a very natural and normal part of human relationships. But it's very also important to have that kind of bonding where you can trust. It's about having an older, reliable, trustworthy adult around, because there's such little structural support available.
So here, actually, parents' role is very, very important. That they should not create you can say, the atmosphere which could give rise to the rivalry, but rather than bonding, the parenting here matters a lot, right? Yes, Mavish.
First of all, I would like to say it's very courageous to talk about something, abuse, one's own emotional or any kind of abuse. It's very courageous of him to talk about it. और इसके बाद आपने अभी पेरेंटिंग की बात की है. देखिए, हमें ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी होगा कि सुसाइड कोई एक सिंगल इवेंट नहीं है कि हम कोई भी कुछ चीज़ें स्टेप्स कर उसको एलिमिनेट कर दें. ये एक सीरीज है जो कि हमें सुसाइड तक लेकर जाती है. कोई भी एक सिंगल इवेंट या कोई एक चीज सिंगुलर उसको जो है वो उस एक्ट तक हमें नहीं लेकर जाती. तो हमें ये अपनी बहुत सारी चीजों में चेंजिंग्स लाना पड़ेंगे, तब जाकर ये चीज जो है वो हमारी लाइफ से थोड़ा दूर जाना शुरू होगी. अब पेरेंट्स इसमें और एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली इसमें कैसे रोल प्ले कर सकती है? पेरेंट्स, बल्कि एज अ नेशन हम एक तरह से सोचते हैं, या एक एक्सट्रीम पर या दूसरी एक्सट्रीम पर. देयर इज नो इन बिटवीन. इसी तरह पेरेंट्स बच्चों के दिमाग में, बच्चों की साइकी में ये इंस्टिल कराते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ अगर आपकी पोजीशन आई है, इफ यू आर फर्स्ट, इफ यू आर सेकंड, इफ यू आर थर्ड, देन इट्स ओके, वरना आप फोर्थ भी आओ, फिफ्थ भी आओ, इट डजंट मैटर. यानी ये आइदर और का कॉन्सेप्ट हमारे दिमाग में आ जाता है. और जब हम सुसाइड को एनालाइज करें तो वहां पर भी यही थॉट मौजूद होता है कि या तो सुसाइड करें और या फिर ये, इसके अलावा बीच में कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. ठीक है, तो ये एक ही दिन में थिंकिंग डेवलप नहीं हुई, इसको सालों लगे, इस थिंकिंग प्रोसेस को बनने में सालों लगे. तब जाकर हमने ये सोचा कि यार अब हमारे पास और कोई रास्ता नहीं बचा. तो हमें पहले से ही बच्चों को चॉइसेस और ऑप्शंस देना शुरू करना होंगे. छोटी छोटी चीजों में उनके दिमाग में ये बातें डालना बहुत जरूरी है कि लाइफ मुश्किल है, लेकिन हमारे पास बहुत से चॉइसेस मौजूद हैं. एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली जहां रोल प्ले करना चाहिए उसको सपोर्ट का, हमारे कल्चर में अफसोस के साथ वो एक नेगेटिव रोल प्ले करती है. बुलिंग, हरासमेंट्स और नेम कॉलिंग्स और इस तरह की डिफरेंट चीजें होती हैं जो कि आपकी पर्सनैलिटी का हिस्सा बनती हैं, और फिर लाइफ में आगे जाकर वो आपको कहीं ना कहीं सुसाइड तक लेकर जाती हैं. लेकिन इटसेल्फ वो पहले कुछ नहीं करी होती, लेकिन वो फैक्टर्स और वो सिचुएशंस मिलकर आपको इस लेवल तक लेकर आती हैं कि आप सुसाइड के बारे में सोचते हो. देखिए, सुसाइड कोई इसलिए नहीं करता कि वो मरना चाहता है. इट्स वेरी सिंपल, नोबडी वांट्स टू डाई. जिंदगी अपनी हिफाजत, ये हमारे उस्ताद कहा करते थे कि जिंदगी अपनी हिफाजत खुद करती है. हमारे अंदर सर्वाइवल इंस्टिंक्ट मौजूद है, कोई भी मरना नहीं चाहता. प्रॉब्लम क्या है? द पर्सन वांट्स टू एंड हिज सफरिंग, नॉट हिज लाइफ. उसको लगता है कि ये जो मेरी सफरिंग है ये तभी खत्म होगी जब मेरी लाइफ खत्म होगी. तो अगर हम उसको इस बात का यकीन दिला दें कि उसकी लाइफ खत्म होने का ऑप्शन के अलावा सफरिंग हम और तरीके से खत्म कर सकते हैं, तो वो ये वाला ऑप्शन लेना ज्यादा पसंद करेगा, बिकॉज ही डोंट वांट टू डाई. इट्स सिंपल एज दैट.
you said this thing, जैसे हम कहते हैं उर्दू में, वो बड़ा अच्छा शेर है कि वक्त करता है परवरिश बरसों,
बरसों
हादसा यकदम नहीं होता.
बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है.
So, yeah, it's like there are series of events and things which actually affect the mental health of a child or an individual, let's say. All right, anything else? So yes.
I was thinking about one of the things that, maybe which is absent actually, maybe even in family, even in school, is maybe we're not creating enough role models. And even if we are creating some role models for, these young people to look up to, so maybe we would mention about maybe Shahid Afridi or maybe an Imran Khan, वो absolute किस्म के superheroes हम लोगों को दिखाने लग जाते हैं. We are showing that to youth. And what we are not maybe showing them is maybe someone from their own community, from their own school. Maybe the schools can invite a parent, and that parent can share the story. And we need to find these role models inside within our that community, rather than just quoting the superhero ones category mein jo hai na, I guess we have to go beyond that. In our families, in our schools, it's very important to create that role model and show it to people that, listen, there is a way out. You can have a solution. This is how you can resolve. And we used to have these there's a youth engagement fellowship program we run, and we do these baitaks. We do it in this we offer the youth bring some chai and some snacks and everything, and we have a good 2-hour sessions and everything when we speak with them. And we try to bring up not everyday life ke jo superheroes hai na, jo role models hain, we invite them and we want them to speak to them and talk about their journeys and make them a part of the journey. And that's how you can actually even you can prevent suicide. And I think so in a very entertaining and an exciting and in a motivating way. I think so that this is where we are lacking a little, I think so. Creating enough role models. I think so we are more of a criticize, we love to criticize, and we need to really look into this, that we should be able to create enough role models to inspire our youth and to help them to protect them from these suicidal thoughts. It's very important. These role models can play, these local role models, and can play a huge role.
And it's amazing to see someone around from within yourself, I mean within your community, rather than going away, like going to showbiz people or maybe a cricketer or maybe a star. It's good जब आप अपने ही अतराफ से, अपने ही सराउंडिंग से लोगों को देखते हैं. The unsung heroes are there. School really need to schools. And let's say why school every time? Why not as a society we can work on that? When we talk about awareness sessions for parents, and why not for this? That Abdul Basit, I really agree, and that idea is really great. I wish we could start this thing, something here in Karachi. Let's look forward, maybe from the platform of Parvarish, maybe from Lankun, right? So let's hope for the best, inshallah. Let's bring you can say something we can bring change to the community, to the society. Yes, Fatma. Would you like to share something with us?
No, I think everything that I wanted to say is covered. What I did want to add before is one of the things that makes suicide so difficult to talk about is the fact that it's still a criminal offense. So it's important to work on, when even the terminology around it, like committing suicide, that is, it's a crime that you commit a crime. So but that makes it a lot harder, and there's a lot of red tape around what help you can access if you have attempted suicide. Hospitals will have their own policy, people will have their own policy. So it is very important to have discussions around, it's not without adding a negative moral judgment on somebody who chooses to attempt suicide or feels so helpless that they feel like they need to end their life to end their suffering, as Mehwish put it. So it's important to talk about that and what limitations that puts around the kind of help people can ask for an access. Because if it was less of a taboo, or if there was more conversation around it, perhaps people would feel more okay seeking help well before it gets to the point of suicide. It often starts with self-harm, and a lot of research says that people who go through with suicide, they've attempted it a few times before. So the number of attempts is much higher than actual completed suicides. So that's something that needs to be attended to. And I was just having a session with a client earlier today who said exactly what Mevish said, that it's not that they want to take their life, but they just want to step away from what's happening in their life at the moment. Where they just want to end what's happening now. That sometimes that in people's head looks like, you know, ending their life, but it is really just about ending the suffering that they're in that moment. So help needs to be targeted towards that, I would say.
Before I go to our question answer segment from our audience, I have few questions here written with me. It is from our audience as well. So at the last, after the question answer, I would go towards your individual message for all of us, towards audience, towards our youth and adults and everyone, in fact. The first question is from Gulab Deepu. The usage of social media is playing negative impact. Do you think it's correct? Do you agree with this?
I feel that, you know, maybe social media is as neutral as hammer. It can make you, it can break you. It's as simple as that. We cannot entirely blame the social media platforms for maybe, you know, uh, promoting such negativity. But of course, these platforms, they can be used for positive and negative things both. So I will not stereotype the platform itself. I think so. Right now, even this is being streamed on Facebook, and people are able to hear this conversation, and people are talking about it. I've been reading comments, and so I would really not say that social media is like it's exactly. But I think so. But the point he raises is that how we are using it, and I think so. It also needs to be seen that, you know, when young children are using it, uh, very young children are using it, and how they're using these social media platforms. I think somebody mentioned about body shaming and everything,
Yeah.
and I think so. The you people, what you're linked, you know, in your profession, and you know, Sukaina, you are linked with the education sector. I think so. This body shaming, even I'm sorry to say this, and I feel bad that, you know, maybe I have done when I was young, I would have body shamed a lot of people as well, unfortunately, without even thinking about the consequences of it. So yes, we see body shaming, we see a lot of revenge. We see revenge porn happening over here, and we see these yes, social media is being used for that. And I think so parents have to monitor how their children are using it, and about, but you know, there comes a time when जब हम adult हो जाते हैं, when we are responsible for our own decisions and everything. I think so it's very important to sit down with young people and sort these things out. That perhaps if you have having a problem with your peers or groups or whatsoever, or maybe you are some sort of you want to take revenge from the world and everything. So it's also important to sit down and speak with those people as well, who are and try to tell them down, to try to counsel them that there can be other solutions to this, rather than, you know, troubling everyone in their life, and maybe, you know, pushing some people into a corner where they want to just suicide and want to uh, bring this to an end.
So I agreed. So everything has there its negative and positive impact. It's all about you, how you going to take. And of course, in initial age, the parent supervision, the monitoring is much more important and actually needed, much needed. All right. Shall I come to my second question? It's from Shahzeb Khan. My question to Mahwish is, how come a grown man who never bullied and abused and have friends too experience existential crisis and having suicidal thoughts, sometimes attract towards suicide? What could be the reason? Is it because of overthinking?
um,
Mavish, it's from you. Yeah.
ओके, देखिए, यहाँ पर हम फिलहाल रीजंस की तरफ नहीं जाते। जब हमें ये नजर आता है कि किसी के दिमाग में सुसाइडल थॉट्स मौजूद हैं, तो उस वक्त ये जरूरत नहीं होती कि हम ये सोचें कि क्यों आ रहे हैं। उस वक्त हम उसको सिर्फ सपोर्ट देते हैं, हम उस वक्त उसके साथ सिर्फ एम्पथाइज करते हैं, क्योंकि उस वक्त यही सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी होता है। जब हम उस स्टेज से उस बंदे को निकाल लेते हैं, देन वी थिंक कि उसको क्यों ये थॉट्स आ रहे हैं। अब इन्होंने ये मेंशन किया है कि इफ उसके पास सोशल सपोर्ट भी हो, उसके पास सब चीजें हों, स्टिल if someone is having, तो ये भी नॉर्मल है. देखिए, सोशल सपोर्ट होने का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि हमारे इर्द गिर्द 100 लोग मौजूद हैं. सोशल सपोर्ट होने का मतलब, सोशल सपोर्ट इज एक्चुअली परसीव्ड सोशल सपोर्ट. लाइक आपकी लाइफ में एक भी बंदा क्यों ना हो, वो आपसे कितना भी दूर क्यों ना हो, बट आपको ये मालूम हो कि ही इज देयर फॉर यू, ही विल बी देयर फॉर यू, he respects you, he loves you, he cares for you. तो ये भी बहुत होता है सोशल सपोर्ट के लिए. तो हमें ये देखना है कि जो हमारे इर्द गिर्द फ्रेंड्स मौजूद हैं, क्या हम उनसे कनेक्टेड फील कर रहे हैं, हमारी जो एक्टिविटीज हैं क्या हम उनसे कनेक्टेड फील कर रहे हैं. तो यहाँ जब हम चीजों को एनालाइज करेंगे अच्छे से, तब हमें चीजें बहुत बेहतर तरीके से नजर आएंगी. और एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस एक थोड़ा डिफरेंट टॉपिक है, उस पर शाहजेब हम बाद में बात करेंगे. इसमें फेयर ऑफ डेथ भी आ जाता है, आइसोलेशन, फ्रीडम, और ये सब चीजें मिला लेते हैं जिसको हम सुसाइड का नाम दे रहे हैं. सुसाइडल थॉट्स आना डिप्रेशन की वजह से भी हो सकता है, आपकी पर्सनैलिटी की वजह से भी हो सकता है, पैनिक अटैक्स की वजह से भी हो सकता है, एंजाइटी की वजह से भी हो सकता है, सब्सटेंस अब्यूज और सब्सटेंस डिपेंडेंस की वजह से भी हो सकता है, आइसोलेशन की वजह से भी हो सकता है, अगर आप का रिलेशनशिप नहीं है, आप सिंगल हो तो भी हो सकता है, आपकी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की वजह से हो सकता है, आपके पेयर प्रेशर की वजह से हो सकता है. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ रीजंस फॉर इट. तो हम इंडिविजुअली जब हम किसी की बात करेंगे तो हम उसको फिर उसके सर्कमस्टांसेस में, उसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में देखेंगे. तो जब हम शाहजेब से बात करेंगे तो हमें शाहजेब से बात करके अंदाजा होगा कि वो किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इसकी बात कर रहे हैं.
All right. This is question from Kiran Afzal. How do we know if a person is having suicidal thoughts? Though we have talked about it, the symptoms, but can we just have a recall, a review, a little bit of it, maybe bullet points? It could be easier for us to relate again. Did you get my question?
Yes, I think one of the things that you need to look out for is if they're engaging in behavior that's punishing, like अपने आप को जानबूझ के risky situations में डालना. और often the hints are there. It's more about like मिलते हुए जाते हुए कहना कि अच्छा अगर जिंदगी रही तो मुलाकात होगी. Little hints. So they're always there. I mean, I wouldn't say they're always there. Sometimes they're very cryptic. But there will be lots of different signs and indications that people will be telling you. But often what's most important to attend to is your own gut instinct. If you feel like somebody is a close friend or a family member and they're not being themselves, then you can ask them if what's going on for them, and if that they seem down, because a big part of this whole experience is feeling isolated, like Mehwish said, and feeling alone. So if they know that people are noticing there's a change in them, they perhaps will feel less isolated, or less, or more able to talk about things or whatever is bothering them. It might not be one thing, it could be a range of different things. Depression may be aksar hota hai. There are lots of other things. Something can be a precipitating event. For example, things have been building up for a while and then one thing can set it off and become, people can become very actively suicidal. So there's no specific thing to look out for. We've talked about sleep disruption, we've talked about other things, we've talked about behavioral changes, hostility, despair ya hopelessness express karna. But often, like, the clues are there in the things that they're saying. So that's how I would answer that.
Okay, I would like to add warning signs जो कि अभी डिस्कस की, ये बिल्कुल ऐसे ही होता है. इसके साथ मैं ये ऐड करना चाहूंगी कि they give their prized possessions to people. ये एक बहुत बड़ा हमारे पास इंडिकेटर होता है. उनकी जो प्राइस पोजेशंस होती हैं, जो उनके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं, वो उसको या तो डोनेट कर देते हैं या फिर अपने दोस्तों को गिफ्ट करना शुरू कर देते हैं. अभी कुछ दिनों पहले ही मैंने एक फेसबुक पर एक पोस्ट पढ़ी थी जिसमें लिखा हुआ था कि माय फ्रेंड थ्रू अ बर्थडे पार्टी और अ पार्टी, और उसके फौरन ही बाद उसने सुसाइड कर ली. सो दिस हैपेंस कि वो अपने फ्रेंड्स को गुड बाइज कहते हैं, उनको लेटर्स लिखते हैं, उनको गिफ्ट्स भेजते हैं, अपने पुराने दोस्तों के साथ रीयूनियंस करते हैं. ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा इंडिकेटर होता है कि कोई इस तरह की चीज सोच रहा है. सेकेंडली, हमने ये सारी बात की कि लोग परेशान होते हैं, एंजाइटी होती है, डिप्रेशन होता है, ये सब कुछ होता है जो हमें सामने नजर आ रहा होता है. बट जब ये प्लान, सुसाइड का जो प्लान है, वो पूरा कंप्लीट हो चुका होता है, तो बहुत सारे लोग बहुत खुश नजर आना शुरू हो जाते हैं. हमें लगता है कि जो उनका फेस था डिप्रेशन का, डिप्रेस स्टेट का, मूड स्विंग का, वो खत्म हो चुका है, जबकि ऐसा नहीं होता. वो अपनी डिसोसिएशन मोड में आ चुके होते हैं, जहां पर उनको सब कुछ अब अपनी तरफ से वो फाइनल कर चुके होते हैं और दे लुक हैप्पी, दे लुक फाइन, बट ऑल ऑफ अ सडन हमें पता चलता है कि एक शख्स ने सुसाइड कर ली, जो कि बिल्कुल कुछ दिनों पहले बिल्कुल ठीक लग रहा था, बट उसने कुछ ही दिनों में सुसाइड कर ली। तो हमें ये देखना भी बहुत जरूरी है कि कुछ दिन पहले अगर हमें किसी शख्स के बारे में ये लग रहा है कि ही इज नॉट फाइन, और कुछ दिनों बाद वो बिल्कुल ठीक हो रहा है विद इन लाइक फ्लिप ऑफ अ कॉइन, तो हमें ये इसको सस्पिशियसली देखना चाहिए। क्योंकि अगर एक दफा किसी के ऊपर से सुसाइड का रिस्क हट जाता है, सो दैट डजंट मीन कि वो पूरी लाइफ के लिए हट चुका है। दैट्स टेम्परेरीली, वो दोबारा भी आ सकता है विद इन ईयर्स, विद इन मंथ्स और एनी टाइम।
There's no
तो
time
हम
frame,
एक
any time.
नो इट्स नॉट कि हमने एक दफा अगर किसी के दिमाग से अगर एक दफा हमने किसी के साथ सुसाइड प्रिवेंशन की है तो वो नेक्स्ट टाइम कभी सुसाइड नहीं करेगा। नो, देयर आर अटेम्प्ट्स, सेकंड अटेम्प्ट्स भी होते हैं, थर्ड अटेम्प्ट्स भी होते हैं। सो देयर इज नो येस और नो ऑन दैट स्केल, जैसे पहले फातिमा ने बात की थी। सो देयर इज नो येस और नो, हमेशा रिस्क रहता है, हमें बस इसके लिए विजिलेंट रहना होगा। दिस इज ऑल वी कैन डू।
This is something. Maybe this question is from me. I mean, I don't know whether it's a bit silly or what. Do you think we have some specific age group, or it starts from which age? Because recently I remember there was a research that a 5 years child tried to commit suicide. I don't know how much it was true it was, but it's just a question: at what age we need to monitor child closely if we find any of such symptoms suddenly? I don't know whether I actually make sense or not. Are you getting my
Yes,
question to my panel?
yes, you are. Yes, you are making sense. मैंने कहा था कि किसी भी एज में सुसाइड हो सकती है, बट रिस्क पर जो एज है दैट इज एडोलेसेंट एंड एल्डरली पीपल, ये दो जो है वो रिस्क पर हैं। बाकी जो हैं उसमें अटेम्प्ट हो सकती हैं, सुसाइड हो सकती हैं, बट दे आर नॉट एट रिस्क। मतलब वो एज उनके लिए रिस्क नहीं है, उनके पर्सनल फैक्टर्स उनके लिए रिस्क हैं। लेकिन एल्डरली एज और एडोलेसेंस, ये एज ही एक रिस्क फैक्टर है। इसमें जब एडिशनल बर्डन आएगा, एडिशनल स्ट्रेसेस आएंगे, तो इट विल कॉज हार्म। इसी तरह हमारा जो जेंडर है वो भी मैटर करता है। फीमेल्स आर मोर प्रोन टू सुसाइड अटेम्प्ट्स 3% ज्यादा जो है खवातीन की अटेम्प्ट्स होती हैं, लेकिन जो कंप्लीटेड सुसाइड्स होती हैं वो मेन में ज्यादा पाई जाती हैं, बिकॉज मेन जो है वो ज्यादा वायलेंट और लीथल मेथड्स यूज करते हैं, लाइक गन शॉट, हैंगिंग, जबकि खवातीन थोड़ी कम लीथल मेथड्स यूज करती हैं, लाइक पिल्स लेना और इस तरह की चीजें जिसमें उनको रेस्क्यू जल्दी कर लिया जाता है। लेकिन जो मेन होते हैं उनको देर से रेस्क्यू किया जाता है, उनके मेथड्स ऐसे होते हैं बिकॉज देयर इज अ टैबू कि मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता, तो वो कोशिश करते हैं कि पहले उसको छुपाते रहें, और उसके बाद जब वो प्लान करते हैं तो वो चाहते हैं कि किसी को पता ना चले, कोई हमें बचा ना सके, क्योंकि बचने के बाद हमें जिस शर्मिंदगी का सामना करना पड़ेगा दैट विल बी मोर पेनफुल। तो इसीलिए यहाँ पर जो जेंडर है वो भी मैटर करता है एज के साथ साथ हमारा। बल्कि ये भी स्टडीज कहती हैं कि अगर आपके घर में वाइफ मौजूद है, हस्बैंड मौजूद है, आपका स्पाउस मौजूद है, आपके बच्चे मौजूद हैं, तो इट्स अ प्रोटेक्टिव फैक्टर फ्रॉम सुसाइड। ऑल्सो हम कहते हैं कि रिलीजन जो है वो बड़ा सख्त है इस मामले में, खुदकुशी हराम है, वो अपनी जगह पर बिल्कुल ठीक है। और स्टडीज ये कहती हैं कि रिलीजियस बिलीव्स, रिलीजियस बैकग्राउंड आपके लिए एक प्रोटेक्टिव फैक्टर है दैट गिव्स यू स्ट्रेंथ टू सर्वाइव, आपको कोई होप देता है। वो जो एथिस्ट होते हैं, जो गॉड में बिलीव नहीं रखते, उनके यहाँ ये चीजें बहुत ज्यादा कॉमन होती हैं। जो गॉड में बिलीव रखते हैं, वो उनका कोई भी गॉड हो, दैट हेल्प्स देम टू सर्वाइव। तो जो रिलीजियस बैकग्राउंड होता है, रिलीजियस फेथ होता है, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ प्रोटेक्टिव फैक्टर। तो यहाँ पर अभी आपने पूछा था एज के बारे में, तो मैंने एज, जेंडर और रिलेशनशिप स्टेटस को मिलाकर बता दिया कि दीज आर ऑल प्रोटेक्टिव फैक्टर्स फॉर अस।
Family plays an important role here. We need to focus.
Yes.
We need to focus on parenting skills and the bonding amongst children and family and parents, and they are like more exposed and more open towards their parents and siblings. जहाँ हम बहुत अपने माशरे में पेरेंट्स के साथ एक बात शेयर करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है। अब तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह टाइम इज बीइंग चेंज्ड, बट I remember in our time it was very difficult to open up ourselves in front of our parents, let alone the chachi, mami, or what. And it was like bullying was a lot that time. But of course now it is there. But we have prevention as well. We have listening ears as well. We have different strategies for that, and the sessions actually, the awareness segments. All right. So this question is from Abdullah. How can we tell our elders to stop us from guilt trapping? Yeah,
Abdullah
this crucial question.
has not asked. I don't think it's a very easy question.
It's a tricky.
It's a very tricky question actually in our society. Sometimes even if we question our elders and maybe if we try to have a debate or it is labeled as an argument. So I think so. I remember, and I am very fond of that Islamic scholar Ramdi Saab, and he said something very beautiful once, and he said that I think so. The solution to Pakistan and the issues we have is that हमें क्या कहते हैं इख्तलाफ करने की तमीज आ जाए. So yeah, we should have that, that we are able to hear different, we are able to accept diversity in thoughts. We are able to accept, we are able to do these debates in a proper, in a respectful way. Even if it's just it's a tough conversation which is happening between parents and children. I think so. Give them that space. Don't become an elder. मतलब आप एकदम से अपना वो elder वाला card ना खेलें. That I am the elder one over here, so you have to listen to me, you have to respect me or anything. Listen to the child. So I think that is it's how to actually help the elders. I think so. Yeah, I think so. That burden, I think so, falls on the society overall. I guess that we need to speak to each other, our friends, our family members, and everything, and see that we improve our communication with our children. I think so. That burden lies more with adults than children in fixing the elders. I don't know, but these two ladies are. I think so they're more well versed on this. They would have a better input definitely.
No, I would agree with what you said, and I think that's a tricky question to ask, to answer, not to ask, of course. But it is generally a thing about. I think it's also there's this thing about where culturally, हम शायद बच्चों को till they get to a certain age, we don't really trust them to make their own choices, and we don't really value their opinions and their input. I think that's something that really needs to change. So this thing of stopping them from guilt trapping adults from guilt trapping younger people, that's something that plays into it, where you don't think that the child's or the young adult's own opinions are worthy of or they're saying anything that's valid, and that yours are more important, and the guilt sort of comes with that, or guilting them into thinking that what they believe or what they think is not valid enough. So there is that, which is difficult. I think most people learn to be more autonomous and take on adult responsibilities in other parts of the world when they're around 16, 18, 21. But I think Pakistani parents find it particularly difficult to let go. That is the nature of our setup, of the culture that we live in.
This is, I would like to slip in a very maybe this story is a little bit related to that. There was a brother who wanted to apply for a scholarship, I remember, and it was their father was not quite well to do. He was working as a plumber, he was working at low wages, but these children were really bright. But the brother tried, but due to some financial constraints and other responsibilities, he couldn't do it. So he now started encouraging his younger sister to apply for the scholarship and go for it, and I'll help you with this. And they were coming from a very, very rural, remote area in Pakistan. And what happened was that she was his sister was actually she actually made it, and she got a scholarship, and she was going to move to Europe and everything. And it was not that the parents were not informed about the scholarship program that she was applying for. Anyways, the parents, I think so, they had a mind change and everything, and they said that you people, we aren't going to send our girl alone. And in the last minute, they dropped out, and it was a very fancy scholarship that girl was able to get. I think so she would have been a very she actually did went to the scholarship, but the brother started feeling guilty about this, and there was a lot of pressure from the society, from his people, from his family, and everyone, the elders, and they kept on blaming him that you have done this to our daughter, and you have pushed her to this point that she's going out of the country. This is not in our culture. Maybe there was some criticism from their family members. That's why the parents were feeling pressurized now, and this brother, he went into a whole next level of guilt, and he took away his life. And fortunately, parents learned that lesson the hard way. Today, that girl is actually studying, and she is actually working to become mental health specialist, and she wants to come back to Pakistan and work. So, yeah, it's going to get. But tricky question था भाई, जिसने भी किया, it's very tricky. Elders, एक बेटे की जान गई तो फिर उसके बाद उनको समझ आई कि नहीं ये ठीक है, जाना चाहिए था उसको पढ़ने के लिए, बट एक चला गया.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would just take a message from Fatma. Fatma, I think you need to leave. It's totally fine. We are going to end within 5 to 10 minutes, but I would like to have a message from you to all of us.
I think the only thing that I would say, and I think I've said it a few times today already, is that notice the changes that you see in people. Think about what your beliefs and values around suicide are. Are they making it difficult to have conversations about suicide? Because and you've expressed this also, like these are difficult conversations to have. They're not easy. Talking about life and death and talking about death and so explicitly, that can be very difficult. So see what you can offer and have a realistic understanding of what you can offer. कि आप constantly 24/7 आप किसी को नहीं support provide कर सकते. So be realistic about what you can offer, what your own capacity is, who else you can involve in this, and be very aware of your own limitations when it comes to this. The only two other things I would like to say are, while researching for this and some of the helplines that I refer clients to when they're feeling suicidal are the Rosen helpline and the Umang helpline. There are two that you can call if you're feeling like you're in a particularly dark place. They are two helplines that I trust. There's a lack of structural support, I will say that, but those are the resources that are available. Other than that, mental health professionals you can find on the internet, but it's very important to check their credentials. A good place to start is counseling.pk. That is a good website that it has a lot of therapists on it. And yeah, that's all I would like to say.
Thank you so much, Fatma.
Thank you very much for having me. And I'm sorry I have to leave earlier.
It's totally fine. But we'll continue my program for 10 more minutes. Fatma, take care. Have a nice weekend, inshallah. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Others can stay with me. Sir, there's a question, Mavish and Abdul Khwaja, right? My question is, what are preventive, Maqbool Sand, right? What are preventive measures to curb the suicidal attempts in white collars? Is there any platform to highlight this issue nationally? How can these cases be reduced? That question. Yes. Was I audible?
Yes, you were audible. I thought Mavish should answer the question, this one first.
I would like to take from both of you. It's totally fine.
I feel that when we talk about preventing this, it's very important to keep the children engaged. We also have to work on we have to see their self-esteem and a lot of other key personality traits that we have to see that how well they are doing in terms of that. And other than that, we need to really keep our students engaged, our youth engaged in maybe sports activities, creative work, outdoor activities, working on them, what sort of a diet they're having, and even on the exercise routines and everything. So we have to keep them really engaged. It's very important. Second thing, I think so what's important is that we need to make, and every person who's hearing this, I want to tell you this thing: there's a solution to every problem, and so you don't need to worry about this. There's a solution to every problem. Don't lose your hope on this, and you'll definitely find a solution to your problem, and things will definitely turn out better. And the third thing, maybe I could say in this is that when somebody comes up to you, or you are seeing this, you may be working as an educator, you're working as a counselor. I think so. What is very important to look at is that people who are having these roles, who are going to monitor children and how is their mental health and everything. I think so. Be it the parents or the teachers, give them the gift of trust. Trust them, listen to them. And I think so, if you're going to give that gift, that's the most valuable thing I think so one person can give to another, and that is your trust. Give them that trust, they will open up to you, they will speak with you. I think so we need to build up a culture in our society that we start trusting other people. Sometimes, my elderly, my they sometimes say that, Basit, you are ready to trust people, like, people you don't even know, you're strangers and you're trusting them. I was like, fine, I'm ready to give. I'm ready to trust that. Okay, let him break my trust once or twice or anything. I'll keep on speaking with him. I'll not give up till he starts valuing what I'm giving to him. And I think so. They will have that space to speak about, and that's how I think so. We'll be able to prevent through community measures and what we can do at our home, individually, and even at a family level, what we can do.
Actually, the giving trust is a something we call ripple effect, right? It's a chain reaction.
Yes.
It should spread.
Yes, definitely. Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think so. It's very important that, your peer networks, the social cohesion, how it is going. You need to see that, is this child, when you're working with children or adults or youth, does he have friends? What is a social, capital? Does she have friends? Does she have people to go to, speak to? And this is very important. I've seen a lot of people who sometimes it's very easy to label them as introverts, but I think so it's very important that when you identify a person who is like, maybe introvert or something, it's very important that that support should be offered. The school. And there's one more thing, Sukaina, maybe you can shed some light on this. It's how the parents and the teachers are communicating, the school are communicating. If they're seeing a problem in a child, how are they notifying that issue to a parent? Are they complaining? All right, that your son is like
You
this,
came to
he
the
said.
question. Actually, I won't mention my school.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was part of a school system. I won't name it here. Alhamdulillah, it's a
yeah.
well-known one. I resigned last year because I actually wanted to work with children who face learning problem, and I really want to work upon them on one-on-one basis, especially the most neglected ones. I have my son. He's in grade 10, right? He has
Okay.
learning problems. The reason I came into this field, and then I have my daughter. She's in
Wow.
university and doing clinical psychology, so too diverse. So I remember we did a course from Cheryl Watson, and it was about safe circle. We used to have it twice a year along amongst our students, like those who were introvert or who have behavioral problems. So we used to actually select, and we used to send this consent form to the parents. Then we have 1 hour sessions for 8 sittings, right? It was about we call it SAP, right? Student
Okay.
Assistance Program. It was amazing. I got
Wow.
fortunately I got the chance. I was selected from my campus, and I still remember the book, how to make the circle, how to create the circle where they could feel safe, and they were not allowed to share anything confidential one. After end of the every session, we used to have an oath, whatever is there, it's going to be there, and in between it was not supposed to be even shared by the principal or the colleagues until unless it's about drug or suicides.
Hmm.
So you could say I learned a lot doing those sessions because I was the coordinator for SAP at that time. Alhamdulillah. So I must say that there are some schools and we need to spread this. It should spread to other areas. And I really wanted to have such sessions at my home because I have the proper certificate for that. But
Wow.
coming
Mashallah.
into that say and asking people to come forward and attend this, again, it's a taboo itself.
Yes,
Doing it at
yes,
school is something different because everybody know, the parents know, and उनको भी बहुत अजीब सा लगता था, but we used to counsel them. We used to have parenting sessions that really matters. Yes, Mavish.
Sorry, can I know what's like going on? क्योंकि मेरा जो है वो I had a power failure.
Chalo, let me ask the question. Maqbool Sand was asking, my question is, what are preventive measures to crush suicidal attempts in white collars?
Yeah.
Is there any platform to highlight this issue nationally? Do we have such? How can these cases be reduced? Since you're part of cyber crime and this law and enforcement, so maybe Mavish, you can shed a little light upon this. Do we have such platforms for white collar jobs?
There is no such platform on the government level. अभी तक हमारे पास यहाँ कोई भी जैसे हमने देखा है यूरोप में, अमेरिका में और डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में एक सुसाइड प्रिवेंशन हेल्पलाइन होती है, बट हमारे यहाँ इस वक्त तक ये चीज नहीं बनी है, जो कि शायद फ्यूचर में बन जाए. सो वी हैव टू हेल्प आवरसेल्व्स.
Right, help ourselves. Okay. So I think we are reaching towards the end of our program. A single word or maybe a message which our audience can take as a souvenir or a takeaway. A one word, even a word, or a sentence or phrase, anything. Yes. Abdul Basit, would you like to give one souvenir
I
or
think
one
so. I
message
will,
to us?
I will repeat what I said earlier to a question that for parents, the elderly, or maybe the motivational speakers or the counselors who are hearing, please trust people. When you speak, communicating with your children or youth, trust them. Communicate in a better way, in a polite way. Accept their point of view, and that's how you listen, and then you together work on getting those solutions. And so trust is very important. And I will, for the young people who are listening out there, I'll just tell them that there's a solution to every problem. So and there are people around you who are willing to offer you help, and you need to give. This life is very valuable. It cannot be thrown away this way. It's valuable, and your life is worth spending. It's worth spending. And uh, people who are sensitive, people who are thinking at this level, maybe of even self harm or something. I believe that instead of causing harm to other people, they choose to cause harm to themselves. So of course it's a criminal offense, and then we have a fair discussion on this and everything. But I think so when such a thing comes up, I actually look up to this person, that rather than causing harm to somebody else or taking revenge or something, you're ready to harm yourself. So I always try to tell them, I try to motivate them that you are carrying a very good heart, and this you people like you are needed over here. You cannot go from here. You need to stay. And that's what I will say to the youth. Your life is very valuable, and please take care of it, and keep yourself engaged. And of course, find people who could support in your family and friends, and try to find that support. And like Fatma had mentioned, and that there are helplines, and there are other groups and everything who are trying to play their role. Parvarish is trying to do that, and we just started a month ago, and we have got a very good response. This group is there, and come over here, put up an anonymous post, and we are here to listen to you.
Exactly, we are there for them. All right, Mavish, we are about to leave now. Yes.
ओके, आई वुड जस्ट से कि अभी यहाँ पर यही बात हो रही थी कि हम उनको ब्राइटर साइड दिखाएं लाइफ की, बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट दे डोंट वांट टू सी द ब्राइटर साइड एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. वो उस वक्त ये चीज नहीं देख पा रहे होते. एक सुसाइड पेशेंट ये कहता है, उसी के वर्ड्स में आपको बता रही हूँ कि उसको एक थॉट ये आ रहा था कि वो साथ कमरे में बैठे हुए अपने पेरेंट्स से क्यों नहीं मदद मांग सकता, और दूसरी तरफ उसको ये थॉट्स आ रहे थे कि अगर आपने मदद मांगी, अगर तुमने मदद मांगी तो यू विल बी अ बर्डन ऑन देम. So this is the dilemma the person is having when he or she is having suicidal thoughts. तो उस वक्त हमें उनको जिंदगी की कितनी भी खूबसूरती दिखाकर उनको मजीद परेशान करने वाली बात है, उस वक्त हमें उनको सिर्फ ये एहसास दिलाना होता है कि योर पेन इज रियल, वी अंडरस्टैंड यू आर गोइंग थ्रू द पेन. हमें उनको ये एक्सेप्टेंस देनी है नॉन जजमेंटली. तब हम उनको एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं देंगे जब वो ब्राइटर साइड पे देखेंगे. इफ यू आर थिंकिंग this way, it's okay, it will go away, it will take time, I'm there for you, don't worry, we care for you. This is what we we should and we must tell them. अगर हम उनको ब्राइटर साइड दिखाएंगे, it will do no good to them, maybe it can cause a more harm to them. और सेकेंडली मैं यहाँ पर सिर्फ एक और मिथ है उसको बस्ट करना चाहूंगी, that people think कि जिसको सुसाइड करनी होती है वो कर लेता है, बताता नहीं है. ये जो अगर इतना कर रहे हैं ये सिर्फ अटेंशन सीकिंग के लिए कर रहे हैं. तो इट्स अ मिथ. जो गरजते हैं वो बरसते नहीं, यहाँ पर अप्लाई नहीं होता. अगर आपको कोई बात बता रहा है तो दैट डजंट मीन कि उसने करनी नहीं है, वो सिर्फ अटेंशन के लिए आपको कह रहा है. दैट मीन्स इट इज अ क्राई फॉर हेल्प. दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Abdul Basit Khwaja. Keep Parvarish Lincoln for updates. Stay connected. Take care, everyone. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.